The York New arc is officially behind us. It was 10 out of 10 perfection. It is Greed Island time now. But first, Gon and Killua have to get their hands on the game. That is not going to be easy. They don't have the money. They don't have the connections. Maybe Phinks and Feitan will help? I don't know. If they're trying to get Crollo free, I'm sure whatever's in this damn game, and this game world, might have some answers. Most importantly, even if Gon and Killua get a copy of the game, they don't got a single Nen ability between the both of them. We need to get stronger. What's up guys, it's Jughead here. Welcome back to our Let's Watch Hunter x Hunter series. Today we are watching episode 59, Bid and Haste. And without any further ado, come watch with me. So, Hunter x Hunter, episode 59 in 3, 2, 1, let's watch. Returning to the auction. This is Hunter x Hunter. Things never go to plan. I don't think they're gonna win the bid on this game. What money do they even have? Greed Island is the hot ticket item. The normie, regular non-users have no understanding why this game is so important. Oh my god, a new opening! I'm gonna watch it by myself so I don't get copyrighted with the music. Actually, I remembered to not watch the OP because I don't want to get spoiled. I'm not binging this show. I should not watch the OP. I don't want to be spoiled. Kurapika's finally awake. I want to know, are Kurapika and Leorio going to join Killua and Gon on their Greed Island journey? Are they going to jump in with them? In the non-underground auction. In the normie auction. Oh yeah, and Kurapika's finding all this out now. So, we're done with that. What about, who's the other guy? Basho? Is that the guy with the haikus? Nothing else about him? Not that I cared. I did not care at all about that character, but and like I said, in my last discussion, I'm curious if this is a result of his Emperor Time usage. I hit pause again. Damn. How much is this gonna go for? Who the hell are you? Mysterious power. Jetsari. He is a player who is inside the game at this moment. Okay. That's what I'm curious. So Ging is not here. And is it all one game? Like, you have your own personal console, but you jump into the one singular game world? When you die in the game, you die in real life. Yeah, Gon and Killua have no abilities. Can we train, please? It's like the one time I'm asking. I want not a training arc, but okay, we need to evolve. Maluki's here? I'm surprised I pulled that name out of my ass. I'm so bad with names. Look at Killua's face. 12 billion, Jenny. They're not winning this game. They're gonna have to find a way to weasel their way into the game. Oh yeah, I forgot he gave that memory card to try and backhand his way into build the game himself. The Zoldycks have to have unlimited money. It's just that Killua didn't want any of his family's money. 30.5 billion Jenny. Are they going to offer to be players in the game? No, no, we have Nen. We have Nen. You don't have your card. He can't prove it, but... Yeah, you gave it up. Can we detect your Nen, please? Detect. Detect. Exactly. Do a Nen test. Hire hunters in order to clear this game. Wouldn't Gon also still have that thing his father left for him? That thing with the mysterious symbolage and writing on it? Like, can we show that? Hey, I bet you've never seen this before. And isn't Gon's... I forget if they called Ging, his father, one of the great... Like, do people know his father's name? Like, is he a household name among hunters? Like, hey, my father is Ging, freaks, and he left me this. You want this? Let me in the damn game. Yes, let's bring this up. No, but my father has. For my father. Ging. The ring? I forgot it's a ring, yeah. I thought, oh, I was talking about the box that the ring came in. I forgot about the ring itself. He seems very intrigued. Ren is exploding your Nen out, right? Yeah. They should be strong from the what the hell's the tower called? That arc? Yes, let's... Oh my god, we're gonna train. Gon does not need to try hard. If this episode's gonna be okay, time to sort out our abilities. Gon's an enhancer. He doesn't need to try a whole lot. I'm gonna rewind. I'm talking too much. I'm gonna rewind. I'm sorry. As long as a player is alive inside the game, you can't reset or remove the memory card. In other words, you can't send in new players. So they're counting on people dying or giving up. And that's what Ging is doing, right? living inside the game. So again, is it one singular game world, but each console can only send in 8 players at a time? Or is that the game world confined to the console itself? Is it like online multiplayer, but only 8 players can play on the console at a time? Like, you can only plug in X amount of controllers into a console? Okay. So we are going to train. Gon is an enhancer. He really does not have to do a whole lot, because they're the best of both worlds, defense and offense. You don't need to create super advanced abilities like a transmuter or a conjurer or an emitter would have to. Killua is going to have to develop something. And I believe Killua is a transmuter. I've been saying that for like 30 episodes so far. My father. Yeah, he's not telling. I wish he would, because I want to get more lore, but Killua's going to have to try. And he's a transmuter because of his personality. He's exactly like Hisoka, essentially. And the other Zoldycks are transmuters. Or use transmuting abilities. They are jumping into the game. But are they going to be in their own game? Separate from Gon and Killua? Or is it like multiplayer where all the consoles can play the same game? I want to see how they jump in. They're obviously looking for a way to help their leader, Crollo. Are they back in Meteor City? Are they joining in too? Oh, they each get their own memory cards. Who's jumping in? Shellnark looks interested. Hey, Gon. You know who you can call? Let's call Wing. I fucking miss Wing so much. Training Arc Part 2. Wing would also make sure both of them stay on the right path. To stay righteous and to... But Kurapika had special abilities, but they were built for vengeance. Yes. Don't do that. Yeah, don't follow his example. Please call Wing. I miss him. He will guide them upon the right path. And will we see what was his pupil's name? I forget his name. He has the benefit of he's okay with being vague. He's an enhancer. He could literally just ball up his fist. He could be pure combat. Or use his fishing rod as a prop. Send Nen into that. He would then be bleeding off into other Nen types though. But literally, we know Gon is straightforward, blunt, to the point, simple-minded. He's not going to develop something too complicated, with not a whole lot of nuance. Electricity? That would be fucking sick. That's transmutation. He is immune to electricity. I remember from his fight in... What the hell is that called? What was that arc called? Heaven's Arena. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Heaven's Arena arc. Where that guy had the electric whips and he was immune to the electricity. Dude. Electric powers would be sick. So unique. We haven't seen anything like that. And that is pure transmutation. Transmuting your Nen aura into electricity. Kurapika looks rough. Are you gonna tell Kurapika that, hey, you don't have to worry about the troop trying to kill you because they physically can't? I drew hundreds, thousands of sketches. I looked at chains, licked chains. I also smelled and listened to chains. He became one with the chain. Oh, my master. Call your master. Hallucinate chains. Manifested them. I think I could be a really good conjurer. I have a perfect imagination. Like, if you picture an apple in your hand, I know some people have that condition where they can't see images in their head. They don't have an inner monologue. They can't see images in their head. They can't dream in pictures. Like, an apple in your hand. Is it black? I can see the full color shimmering in the light. I can feel the texture. I can hear the sound of me biting into it. I can, like, feel biting into it, the wetness, like the crisp, I can taste it. I feel like I could be a good conjurer. Yes, contact wing, contact wing. He's still at Heaven's Arena? Jesus. Now, I don't know how much time has passed since Heaven's Arena arc. Yeah, like I said, they're the most balanced between offensive and defense. If you master Ten and Ren, those will be strong enough to be considered special abilities. I'm going to have to really learn, now that everybody's going to have abilities, I would be disappointed to see an improvised special ability. Do not become Yep, you must not emulate that Kurapika person. Oh my god, I can't believe we're seeing Wing. You needn't emulate anyone else when you're already so strong. Wait, what did he say? Oh, is he not giving him any hints? Yeah, he's not giving him any answers. You still have to find it out yourself. It's gonna be simple. Gon doesn't have to worry. Go with the games you play. Arm wrestling. Something. Just something with your fists. Your fists and your feet. Show him everything simultaneously. Gyo. Ren, Gyo. Focus it in your goddamn fist. And what is that called? I forget what that's called. I need to learn. 10. Shroud myself in aura. Perfect timing. Zetsu. Suppress my aura. Ren. Explode. Bring forth an incredible amount of aura. Open the floodgates. Hatsu. What would you do with electricity? He's starting... Remember, it was only the tiniest little spark, but now he's like really starting to take hold. Yes, Gyo. Focus it in your... But... Whoop. Yes, 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 yes. These bad boys. Call your ability fucking knuckle sandwich for all I care. But this is what you need to be focusing on. Yes. Was that orange? Is his Nen color orange? He is one in... Was it 1 in a million or 1 in 10 million? Haste makes waste. Don't rush into it. Us. Look at that. Look how quick. Now, what's he gonna do with that? Project it out? Enshroud himself? Oh my god, oh my god, the potential. I am gonna talk your guys' ears off this discussion. I have so much to get through. I'm throwing some theories out. I'm asking a lot of questions. And I'm gonna get deep. So, the episode opened up with Kurapika awaking from his fever and exhaustion. He's only in this episode for a couple brief moments of screen time, and he looks half dead, highlighting the strain he put on his mental state and the consequences of his chosen Nen abilities, which is significantly relevant as both Gon and Killua are developing their own abilities. And Wing told Gon, do not become your friend Kurapika. This is precisely why. The most powerful Nen abilities come with great risks, and power often exacts a heavy toll. Has his revenge even brought him peace or just more suffering? I think Kurapika's journey is far from over. His journey inside himself more so than the physical journey. True resolution does not come from revenge alone, we see. Though I do not know if we'll even really see much of Kurapika at all this arc, going into this new Greed Island arc, or Leorio for that matter. Leorio still has his dream of becoming a doctor. He has med school to go to and finish. He wants to save people. I don't know how much that aligns with Killua's goals, Gon's goals, Kurapika's goals, whatever they are. Kurapika might have a reason to be involved in Greed Island. I don't know. I don't see it right now, but I think this might be where our character paths separate once again like they have before. With everybody going home, going their own ways, that includes the Mafia, that includes the Phantom Troop, but with the Mafia, particularly the Nostradas. And in the brief scene with her, we are subtly reminded again of the complex, morally gray world we're residing in here. When I was watching, I thought it was darkly funny, like how many people did it take to die before Neon felt like finally deciding to go home? Even so, she didn't even go home because Squala died. She went home because Eliza was so upset about Squala dying. Something got through to her. She showed empathy towards Eliza, but I don't think she cared about Squala himself dying. But I do think she cared more about Eliza's grief than her going home empty-handed without the Scarlet Eyes, without any more auction winnings. It still just shows how pampered and apathetic she is, a product of childlike innocence, unable to comprehend emotions beyond what a small child is capable of understanding, despite being 16 years old, I think is what her age is. It'll be interesting if we ever see her again, when she'll realize she can't use her specialist ability anymore, which will send Light and Estrada into a crisis, and will probably send Neon into an existential crisis as well, because that is the only reason she is valued by Light. New character, Battera, 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 that's how I'm going to pronounce it, acquires the Greed Island game that was up for auction, 30.5 billion Jenny. Gon and Killua approach Battera, expressing their desire to participate as sponsored players. Another character, Tsezguerra, again, I don't know how you pronounce that, Tsezguerra, Tsezguerra, is apparently a hunter and an experienced player of the game, who tells them they can't play without Hatsu. Though they seemed super tantalized and enthralled by the fact they had a memory card and that mysterious ring I still have no clue about. Phinks and Feitan, being spiders after all, resort to theft for their copy of Greed Island. It's a great juxtaposition and a moral dichotomy bouncing from one scene to the other. Our boys' integrity against the troops' unscrupulousness. Gon and Killua's experience this episode is centered around rejection and adaptation. The whole essence is, do you have what it takes? Immediately rejected, their current power ceiling is lower than the bare minimum floor to even be considered for entry into this new world, into this new arc. Tsezguerra forces them to rethink their approach. Their attempt to buy Greed Island failed because they lacked financial and strategic preparation. Then they get denied for their lack of Hatsu. It shows how money and financial power dictates certain parts of the world, while Nen power dictates a whole nother corner of the world. Tsezguerra's rejection is a necessary moment for them both, is a necessary moment for them both of humiliation and growth. Instead of just being handed the opportunity, they must earn their way into the game. Getting my degree in economics, one of the principles forever etched in my mind is that there is no such thing as a free lunch. Gon and Killua, despite their talents, are not qualified. They are not worthy. At some point, they were going to hit a wall and face a necessary reality check. Just because you want something doesn't mean you deserve it yet. To take a step back, decide to train and develop their own Nen abilities is the pivotal turning point in which our boys will shift from impulsive fighters to methodical, prepared strategists. Hopefully. Also interesting how the manga for Hunter x Hunter was written well before the advent and normalization of mass digital distribution, which now dominates gaming today over physical copies. I was just pointing that out, how that feels like such a novelty today of actually owning a physical copy of anything. And in this case, it's the only way to play. Maluki couldn't even emulate it from the memory save, apparently. Also brilliant to limit access to such an insane degree. Limiting access to this extent, such a harsh barrier to entry, having to get your hands on one of the extremely rare physical copies of the system and the memory card, either by spending vast amount of money, killing for it, stealing it, just to get it, ensures only those who truly know what they're getting into can get in. Only those who want it that bad can enter. And so, with like Gon and Killua, how impressive a feat it will be to develop a Hatsu and their abilities in next to no time at all. This episode showcases exactly what is so unique and incredible about Hunter x Hunter compared to other shonen, other special ability anime, whatever that is called, whatever that genre or category within anime is called. I just call it special ability anime. This episode reinforces one of Hunter x Hunter's core ideas. Raw strength alone isn't enough. Intelligence, strategy, patience are equally important. True power requires effort and preparation. Gon and Killua have the resolve to improve themselves, different from their earlier, more reckless approaches we've seen. Gon confronts the limitations of his nen head on. He struggles to conceptualize a unique ability which perfectly reflects his enhancer personality, his straightforward nature and reliance on instinct over contemplation. But with Kurapika's advice, he calls up Wing, which made me so happy seeing him again. And his decision to consult Wing shows Gon's humility and him recognizing his need for guidance. You can't do this alone. Well, maybe you technically can, but you shouldn't have to. Wing was your secret proctor for the secret portion of the Hunter exam for a reason. Take advantage of your friendships and your connections. If only Gon could have been able to witness the Evogan fight, even catch a glimpse, I imagine he probably would have come up with some ideas in an instant. But then, of course, he'd be trying to emulate or take inspiration from someone else and not look entirely deeply within himself for what is truly him, down to his bones, his life experience, his rawest emotions, what he can channel. And then, on the opposite side of that wall, separating the two, Killua is the exact opposite of Gon, analytical rather than spontaneous. Their training is a quest for identity, and I think it's clear it's initially easier for Killua to seek and create a nen ability that resonates with his true self. You need to align your nen abilities with your inherent traits and life experiences. Killua draws from his past with electrical torture during his upbringing. Such a seminal, formative experience, integral to who he is. So this is so profoundly symbolic. I just think back to my deep philosophical, like borderline hour-long discussions of old Hunter x Hunter reaction videos that were just about Killua. Those early episodes, like maybe episode 20-something, about Killua, when they returned to Whale Island, when Killua had talked about not having a direction in his life or a goal, not even knowing what to do with his life, just knowing he doesn't want to go home, he doesn't want to be his family, talking about, and then taking that and talking about trauma and abuse and existentialism, watching how broken Killua was, watching him recreate himself over these episodes, and now witnessing that right there. Wow. Transmuting his nen into electricity, his reclamation of a traumatic part of his past, and transforming it into a source of personal strength. Reclaiming past trauma and transforming it, transmuting it into his power. Like, oh my God, the writing from Togashi. And how few people actually catch this type of symbolism, or to care to catch it. This is character development and writing absent in most adult novels, HBO shows, Oscar-nominated movies, and this is an anime. It's writing and stories like this people miss out on that upset me, or more so just disappoint me. How many people will just dismiss an entire art form, an entire genre of art and storytelling because it's animated, or because it's in another language, or simply because of the word anime. These training sequences in this episode between Gon and Killua, the two of them separated by that wall, together, side by side, but doing something they must fundamentally achieve themselves alone. These scenes are just rich with the themes of self-discovery, resilience, and the transformative power of adversity. Look, see where you are now. Now, let's get to the real meat and fucking potatoes of this discussion. This is the most important chapter of my discussion right here. I'm about to go into a flow state, shooting ideas off, bouncing ideas off the wall, opening the floodgates to all the theories and ideas, all about just Greed Island. The rest of this discussion is only about Greed Island. Let's get into it. Okay. Right now, Greed Island, from what I have only seen so little of and understand even less, seems like the greatest, most impressive feat and display of Nen in all of Hunter x Hunter thus far. And I don't know what would top it in the future. Like, purely speaking, to use Nen that teleports people either into a game or a simulation like Tron, or teleports people to a real place somewhere on the planet, already insane. And this place has to be brimming with life and everything, which is also either real or all conjured, or a mixture of both. And then a challenge or a point to the game in the first place. It can be cleared. We heard that word. It can be cleared, which means it can be beaten or completed, in which you have to design all of that too. And the game has to run smoothly. It's still a game. It has to run smoothly. You have to avoid bugs and glitches and take care of people who may enter the game at risk of fucking it all up and ruining it, like hackers in the games we play. All of this sounds like just the greatest achievement in Nen in the entire Hunter x Hunter world. Like peak potential in Nen usage. A feat like none other. You've essentially created a simulation, but if you die in the game, you die in real life. Which makes me feel like it's not in a game Tron style, but somewhere else on the planet that is impossible to get to without the game. Kind of like a Lost, getting to the island. I expect there has to be so many conditions set that it's just crazy. In order for everything to function with that level of fidelity, you would have to lay out so many conditions. And so then, what's the purpose of the game? Why was it created? Those are always the who, what, when, where, why. Why was it created? We know from the Hunter website that Gon and Killua access with that bartender in Yorknew that they ask questions to, that Greed Island was created by a group of Nen professionals, a community of Nen users. So if this is only possible through multiple powerful Nen users pooling their Nen together, their resources together, their minds together, that would explain its existence. Something of this wondrous scale requires a never before seen feat of collaborative Nen. Can Nen then, from different individuals, be pooled together and mixed together, like a chemical reaction, or sugar with water and it becomes sugar water, salt with water, salt water, sodium chloride becomes salt, a chemical reaction? Or is it always separate, like water and oil? I don't know. That's everything what I'm interested in finding out. Ging, knew he'd only ever see his son if his son chose to be a hunter, and must have known the only reason Gon would try to become a hunter is because of him, to find him. And so Ging, being on Greed Island from that flashback we saw when he's like riding a dinosaur on top of a bigger dinosaur, or whatever the hell that creature was, or riding a dragon on top of a dinosaur, or riding a dinosaur on top of a dragon. I don't know what the hell it was. I forgot what the flashback was. That had to be Greed Island. And so Ging, being on Greed Island from that flashback that we saw, knew Gon would have to become a hunter, would have to develop Nen. He knew his son would never even gain access to the game unless he had Nen and a hunter's license, because the only way Gon found out about his father and where he was sealed inside a box that required Nen to be opened, along with a card slot for the hunter license. Inside was that tape he pre-recorded, knowing his son was going to either never hear this or indeed hear it. Here's the memory card, arguably the easier of the two pieces to obtain, but he knows how rare the game is. So the only way he'd again still see his son is if he was witty, resourceful, or powerful enough to obtain it. That's why Ging tells him if he only slightly wants to see him, stop listening to the tape, because only slightly wanting will not give Gon the resolve to obtain the game, find a way into it, and most important of all, survive inside of the game. Ging said he will make it as difficult as possible for Gon to find him, because this is Ging's way of training him without ever even seeing him in over 10 years. Gon will train and become strong to get to him, which I think is what Ging wants. Ging himself says he is selfish. He has an ego. I think what he would want is for his son, his bloodline, his heir, to be as powerful as him. Build a legacy, if not exceed him. He clearly set things in motion to train him, put him on a path to greatness. I don't think Ging is merely on or in Greed Island. I think Ging created Greed Island. If his father is supposedly a household name, his name blacklisted from every server, characters like Netero and Satots knowing him, revering him, and then knowing his son, then Ging must be an incredible Nen user, a legend, one of the greatest in existence and in history. And so, I believe he created Greed Island, a game. Does Ging love games? Is that where Gon gets that from? Gon loves games. His love of games. Would Ging know that? And so, build a game for your son. Why would you build a game like this for your son? A game as dangerous as this? Because he wants his son to be the greatest. Like I said, Ging has clearly been trying to train Gon from the beginning, from afar. Who's to say that doesn't extend to Greed Island itself? Where are we going to see our characters become even stronger? Obviously, Greed Island, in order to survive and thrive. They cannot die, so they must get stronger. I feel like that is the entire point. That would be the only justification for abandoning your son his whole life. Not justification, but excuse, that you spent those 10 years creating a game others can play but is meant for your son so that he could become stronger, the greatest hunter. Especially if he knew his son was 1 in a million or 1 in 10 million or whatever the hell the number was. Then give your son the avenue, the lane, and the resources to reach his potential. Since you were able to reach yours by abandoning him and all responsibility, return the favor. That's what I believe. I believe Greed Island is meant for Gon. This has been the path the entire time. Give your son literally the biggest sandbox to play in and develop himself into a formidable, strong hunter. Now, there are multiple people who created Greed Island, a whole group of people who are involved in this endeavor. A group of Nen practitioners. That's what that bartender said. So I don't think Ging somehow convinced a dozen of his colleagues or friends or whoever to dedicate a decade of their own lives and immense effort in creating this game specifically for this guy's son. But at the very least, Gon would have been constantly present in Ging's mind throughout its construction on his part. To Ging, what he's doing, the part he's taking in, what he's doing is for his son. His part in the collaboration effort is for his son. Greed Island is a game a whole group of people wished to create and realize in this world, and Ging meant it to train the only person he cares about playing it in the first place, if his son ever comes to play it. So we know for a fact, it's stated Ging didn't create it alone, but I believe his involvement had Gon at the forefront of his dedication and reasoning for doing so. The other unknown people could have all had their own desires and their own goals and their own aspirations, but for Ging, it's always been Gon. What was it? 7 or something copies of Greed Island were up for auction this year. I might be creating false memories in my head and creating fake dialogue in my head. But didn't someone say it was like a record number of copies, or like it was a really big deal how many copies were up for auction this year? So I mean, you're telling me a bunch of copies of the ridiculously rare and coveted Greed Island game coincidentally popped up and appeared for auction all at once, not just the same year, but only like a couple months after Gon passed the Hunter exam, and immediately after Gon accessed the box Ging left for him, sealed by Nen, which is definitely Ging's Nen, and I assume Ging would have felt that. Ging absolutely had a part in that, to give Gon the best chance to attain the game. Even though he said he'd make it as hard as possible, I have to say, all those consoles, all those games popping up at once in the biggest auction in the world that he knew Gon would hear about, he set that up for Gon. I also feel Greed Island is about to be a place, an arc, where Gon and Killua's relationship is finally made a plot priority once again and focused on once again, where we'll see their relationship dynamic develop more. Coming out of the Zoldyck Estate arc and Heaven's Arena arc, their friendship growth and relationship kind of went on the back burner, became quite stagnant and inhibited during the Yorknew arc because there was just so much other stuff going on. So this is the perfect opportunity for it to evolve and get focus once again. We've seen throughout the Yorknew City arc hints of Killua's codependence on Gon, and we've seen hints of Gon's own selfishness, like his father. Ironically, his own greed. This could cause rifts or immense growth between them. I just want to see their relation dynamic fleshed out some more again. Episode 59 is also one of the best episodes because of how multifaceted it is, how it delves into the complexities of ambition, the ethics of a man's methods, and the relentless pursuit of self-improvement, juxtaposing different characters' approaches to creating themselves, solving a problem, achieving their goals. We watch and reflect on the nature of power itself and the paths chosen to attain it. As Gon and Killua prepare to enter the world of Greed Island, the stage is set for profound explorations of their character and the challenges and the drama that will ultimately lie ahead. And I can't wait. Oh my God. And that is where I'm going to end the discussion today. If you enjoyed the video, hitting that like button to let me know is awesome. Better yet, if you haven't subscribed already, please do so to stay in the loop here in our community. Keep the conversation going down in the comment section below, especially this episode. Having said all that, and with that said, so long, farewell, until next time, thank you, have a good one.